Greetings and salutations, Earthlings. Welcome back to RJ Square Podcast. I am your host, November Montgomery, joined with Ray Ray, the Latino lover, with another episode 19. Ray, how have you been?
I'm well, sir. It's good to see
Oh,
you
wait,
again,
wait, what's
friend.
your name on there?
I am the artist known as Tree Trunk these days.
Tree Trunk, let's go.
Yeah, Tree Trunk, baby. Tree Trunk. Just call me Tree Trunk. I'm gonna go ahead and uh, put up my masquerading mask every week or so, and maybe start shifting into different pseudonames and personalities.
I
Kind of
feel
like
you,
my
man.
buddy November. Mm-hmm.
Hey,
So
we
anyway,
haven't been on for a while. How you been?
yeah, I've been good, man. I've been good. Enjoying this summer weather. Actually, you know what? I have to tell you, it ranges from like 80 to 85 degrees, but I have to tell you that sun is brutal. And you can really feel the UV rays. So whoever says that climate change is not happening, yeah, you're off your rocker there, killer. So yeah,
Yeah, it gets hot
it's
here.
oof.
It gets hot here. I think like on a average day it's around 93, 94. On terrible days is like 98 to like 101 in Georgia, bro.
Yeah,
Terrible.
and you're right. You're right there on the coastline. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
fucking terrible.
Hmm.
But it's been a while. This is episode 19. We're gonna react to a Call Her Daddy video. I don't think Renell's ever seen this, but I believe this is the number one woman's podcast right now that we're reacting to.
Yeah,
But
I've never heard of it, and I look forward to it. Yeah.
yeah, but they go against the convention. The How can I say? They go against the conventional, traditional upbringing of women. I will say
So
that.
they're not feminist.
No, they're
Oh,
definitely feminists. They're
oh,
thought
they are
bots.
feminist. Okay.
They're thought bots. They just like I can fucking do what I want type shit. That's what they're on.
All right, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so we'll pull that up real quick. Give me a second while I pull up my handy dandy.
And while you're doing that, I will say, hey, they have a good marketing strategy because
Hmm.
podcasts are big. Usually, men's podcasts are really big. Women kind of use how can I say? Women tend to use a little more sexual content on their podcast. You know what I'm saying? To draw viewers in, like TikTok, they'll show breasts, they'll get on gaming sites, they'll show a little cleavage, and that's how they build their audience. But yeah, let's take a gander. Just
All right,
turn the volume
let's
on and make it bigger.
Real.
let's
I want
jump
to
in.
be getting my head bashed in the
We'll start
mattress.
it
I
over.
want to be getting flipped upside down. And then I want to be, when you're
Here we
younger
go.
in your 20s, like who the fuck wants to get married and settle down?
Yeah.
Some people, but not me at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to feel the thrill. I want to be getting my head bashed in the mattress. I want to be getting flipped upside down. And then I want to be getting ghosted the next day. I want to have my heart ripped out of my chest. And I want to do it all over again and then some. And then when you get a little older, you're kind of like, I literally don't have time. When you're younger in your 20s, like who the fuck wants to get married
All
and
right.
settle down?
Yeah.
Some people, but not me at that point.
Yeah.
I was like,
Here one more
I
time.
want to feel the thrill. I want to be getting my head bashed in the mattress. I want to be getting flipped upside
Fair
down.
use,
And then
fair
I want to be
use.
getting ghosted the next day. I want to have my heart ripped out of my chest. And I want to do it all over again and then some. And then when you get a little older, you're kind of like, I literally don't have time.
Okay,
When
bring
you're
us back.
younger in
Bring
your
us back,
20s, like,
brother. So you heard it from the young lady there. I don't know how old she is. I would think she's probably still in her 20s because she's talking about in her 20s. But what do you think about that short snippet?
So I think it's, you know, I'm going to make a lot of assumptions here, right? And what I'm thinking is just based off of that small snippet, because it's all about context. I didn't see the rest of the show, but she's maybe talking about, in her younger years, living the loca life, right? To say it in a quick term that kind of draws us back to the 90s. She pointed to, hey, getting her head bashed into the mattress, living that thrill, right? Kind of that Hakuna Matata life, getting flipped over, ghosted, heartbroken, right? But in her younger years, right? And I think that's where she was going. Now that maybe she's a little bit older, a little more grounded, looking for more stability, maybe looking for that love, long-term love interest, family, white picket fence, etc., etc. But saying to herself and to her audience, "Hey, when you're young, just go for it, right? Get your head bashed into the mattress because that's life too." As opposed to just getting married at 20 years old, having 3 kids, and living the quote unquote happily ever after lifestyle that society sometimes kind of subscribes to. So over to
Right.
you.
Okay. So yeah, I looked it up. Color Daddy is currently in its 7th year. It launched in 2018. The podcast host, Alex Cooper, is 30 years old. She was born on August 21st, 1994. Now, I believe
Hold
she
up,
also has,
stop there for a second. So you said Alex Cooper. Alex Cooper's the girl that was just talking.
I don't know if that's the girl who was just talking, but
Okay.
this is I guess, the podcast host, Alex
Okay, gotcha.
Cooper. I don't know if she's necessarily the young lady who was just speaking.
And you said that this Alex Cooper person is born in 1994 or graduated in 1994?
Born in 1994.
Okay, close to okay. So
I also pulled this up. In 2022, the Los Angeles Times reported that Cooper was the highest paid female podcaster on the platform with an annual salary of $20 million.
Mhm.
In August 2024, she signed a $125 million 3-year deal with Sirius XM to replace Spotify as her distribution and advertising partner. That's huge. 125
Yeah,
million deal?
for sure. Oh my gosh.
Right. So that's how big this chick is.
Or the entire podcast
Yeah,
overall.
she's bigger than
25 million. Damn, dog.
she's bigger than 98% of men podcasters. I mean, maybe Tim Cass, Joe Rogan is bigger than her. That's the only two I can actually think of. That's bigger than her.
Actually, Joe Rogan fell behind. I think was it the Young Turks, or let me see.
Well, I'm just speaking about bigger than her. Regardless if he fell behind. And then your boy, who you say you listen to.
Well, no, those guys. Some of those guys are. Yeah, it's still Joe Rogan. It's still on Apple Podcasts. The top podcast is Joe Rogan. So on Apple, at least, he's still the top podcast.
Yeah. But
speaking of which, we probably need to reach out and branch out to Apple at some point.
Yeah, once we get to, we got a long way to go. let's just say that. But to speak on, so this is what I think about what she said.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of women think just like her, especially younger women, early 20s, in college. They want to date. They want to find themselves. They want to experiment with men. They want to live life. They want to be free. That's how I think they feel. But what I don't think they think about is the cost behind the actions in their early years. While they're getting ran through, while they're sleeping with all these men, while they're getting their heart broke, while they're accumulating baggage, while they're accumulating trauma, might have to take a plan B, might have to get an abortion, something of that nature. I don't think they think about the repercussions behind their immediate actions. I'll never tell a woman what to do, but let me put this in the easiest way I can. Raynell, if you had a daughter and she was 25 and she said that on a podcast, how would you feel? Like, what the fuck? Well, I'm not even going to put words in it. How would you feel?
Yeah, 100%, bro. Yeah, the reason you just said what the fuck is because you know, right? You know me for so long, you know what I'm thinking, right? But the thing is, this goes back to, a term that you like to use a lot, it's the happy hypocrite thing, right? Yeah. We enjoy to play, you and I, right? We enjoy women when they when they reach out into that realm of being a bad girl, right? Being a bad girl. It's cool for us, right? But we hell to the fuck no don't want that shit for our daughters, right? No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. And that's where we are, just happy hypocrites. And so to my future daughter, if she ever sees this, yeah, what the fuck? You will never speak like that, and you will never behave like that, and that's not going to happen, right? And then, kind of zooming out a little bit, I think this goes to, there are some regrets in my life, right? And one of those regrets in my life is the fact that I feel like I have had too many um, too many intimate relationships with women.
Who you
I made
didn't
a
really give
mistake.
a fuck about,
Yeah.
or
And so
just
this
in
goes
general.
back, let's call them one night stands.
Okay.
Too many of those. Way too many, right? Not proud of it at all, Tudo. Not proud at all, right? And if I could turn back the clock of time, and I think this holds true for men and women. And so, when my son sees this video, I say to you, son, it's all about quality, right? Over quantity, 100%. Make sure that when you have that intimate relationship or that moment with that person, make sure it is of quality, that there is some kind of connection there, as opposed to just our primal instinct.
Okay.
So that's what I say to my son and daughter, right? This holds true for both. We have to be, and the problem is when you're young, you just don't know how to corral that primal instinct on both sides, both female and male. And then you throw in the alcohol and it fucks everything up.
Yeah,
And the
I
weed
agree.
or whatever, right? So go ahead, I'll let you kind of jump in at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I can't say it's good or bad, but I can say in most cases the outcome isn't worth the ride, especially for women. Um, I put more credence on women, man. I just think um, they should carry themselves in a certain way. I think men should also, but no one wants to find a partner and then in this we're just speaking about women because eh, right now we're just speaking about women, but a man doesn't want to find a partner and then realize like she was the town bicycle and like dudes were, I'm being serious, like dudes were just the same shit that she said. I want to get tossed around and head put through the headboard. Like, bruh, like if you ever get like imagine how your husband would feel seeing this shit or your current
Yes,
boyfriend like seeing this shit.
yes,
Like
yes,
it's just weird.
100%.
And I say a
Now,
lot of off the
now,
wall
mind
shit.
you, that's okay, but let's keep that behind closed doors. Like,
Yes.
just between you and I, right?
Yes. And
As a
look,
partnership.
she has a podcast, so it could be for entertainment. So I understand that.
Mhm.
Or it could be the way she actually feels. But there's a reason why the name Call Her Daddy, and she's one of the biggest podcasters in the US because these are the type of things they speak on. But I do feel that saying things like this will lead other women astray. Like the younger crowd will be led astray, like, oh, she made it big. She went through this. Maybe I need to go through it. Well, no father wants their daughter to keep having their heart ripped out, how she was saying, and then come back and play the game for more brutal heartbreak and just getting fucked and tossed. Like, no father wants that for their kid, bro. No brother wants that for their sister. No cousin wants it for their cousin. Like, so it is what it is. I just wanted to throw that in there, man. I wanted to see what you thought about this because I think there's more men that feel the way we do than men that say, yeah, live your life, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the most liberal or feminist men would still say, it might be a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? You can have a liberal guy because you're a moderate liberal, I guess, but you can have a liberal guy. And when you say shit like this, it still throws him off, regardless of how liberal he is. Like, wait, you're talking about getting heartbroken, running through dudes, tearing up headboards. Like, bro. So
Yeah. So for the record, I am not a moderate liberal.
my bad. What are you? I apologize.
I'm just independent. Period. Full
Okay,
stop.
me too.
And,
Okay.
and if we're and I have no agenda. I'm not gonna hide it either. I'll just speak to what I am. For the audience, I am a social liberal and a fiscal conservative. Those are the beliefs that I stand on. So yeah, I'm not a moderate liberal. I am
My
just a
apologies right now.
independent. Yes, sir. But there are times when I'm a happy hypocrite too.
Yeah.
So it's like the wind. It goes left, it goes right. Um, so you were saying, yeah, talking about that future relationship and how these tattoos, for lack of a better term, may come back to bite us in the butt, specifically when they live in the internet world forever, right? And they never go away and it can't be erased.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is something to what you're saying. Is that going to bother Ray now? When he gets into that relationship with whatever her name is, we'll just call her Alex, and meets her and ends up falling in love with her. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but you're right. I have an open mind, right? And I also see it this way. Who the fuck am I to like judge anyone, bro? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Mhm.
Like, no, I can't judge anyone. And that's why I believe in second chances. That's why I believe in redemption stories. That's why I believe that porn star, that OnlyFans girl can live happily ever after. Let's use a case in point here. She's never an OnlyFans. She was never a porn star or anything to that effect. However, her name, her good name, was dragged through the mud, literally and figuratively, right?
Who are we talking
and
about?
that's what's her name? P. Diddy's ex,
Oh, Cassie?
Cassie, bro.
Mhm.
And look at all the shit that she had to go through, go through, and all the humiliation that she has gone through over the last 10 years or so, right? Fast forward to the case and the actual trial. She has to go up in front of a court, a jury of his peers, and essentially retell and relive that story. And she does so with incredible valor. And she does so also showing that, you know what, I've moved on and I am in a new chapter of my life. This is a redemption story. Because all that dirt, all that shit that I did, whether it was willingly or unwillingly, is my past, and this is the new me. You go, girl, with your bad motherfucking self. That's what I say. So good for her.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I don't think she's ever going to escape it. I'm not even going to lie to you. No, I don't. I don't. I think it's going to always follow her. I think she's always going to have trauma from it, no matter how many shrinks she sees. I think it's always going to be a part of her, bro. There's there's a reason why, and studies were done on this. When a woman has usually more than 6 sexual partners and higher, it's hard for her to pair bond with a
Mm,
man. Like,
mm,
at a certain point, and men have a problem too. It just takes a few more women than the other way. But I think at a certain point, it becomes desensitized. Look, you can never bring that certain excitement in the bedroom. You can have intimacy and be intimate, holding hands, kissing, and watching a movie, cuddle up. But from a sexual standpoint, you're never going to be able to recreate the novelty that she experienced. Because believe me, I'm not saying she wanted to do it. I'm saying she was in it for so long, it probably became addicting. It was arousing to her at a certain point. She didn't go into I'm guaranteed they weren't picking 5'5", 300-pound men for her to sleep with. You know what I'm saying? She probably had attractive men. You can still be sexually attracted to someone and be put in a situation such as Puff did her, to where I don't want to do this, but the dude is fine. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple. I don't think she's going to be able to escape it. I don't think her marriage is going to last for another 2 years. I think all this coming out, no matter how much a man may say, I understand, I'm with you, I support you, bro, there's only so much anyone can take. That's men or women. That's like if you're married for 10 years and you go to your wife and say, you know, I've been paying for 2 more houses for 2 other women. Bro, your wife is probably going to divorce you. Like, what? Like, we could have had better cars. We could have had another place that we were putting money into. You could have been putting that money to the kids, to me. Like, it's that type of thing. I just don't think when certain things happen, I just don't think you can come back from it as easy as people say. Now, do I think that she's doing her best to put it behind her? Yes, of course. But I don't think she'll ever really fully be able to put something like that behind her. It's like, bro, if somebody gets in a car accident, every time they hear a horn, a bad car accident, every time they hear a horn pass by, they're like, oh, grabbing the wheel. It's just part of you. But
Yeah, it's called PTSD, right?
yeah,
So she's definitely scarred. She's got some PTSD going on. You mentioned her partner or her husband today. Hats off. I think we mentioned this in previous. I don't know if we talked about it in previous shows or maybe just offline. Hats off to him for being such just the bigger man.
yeah, huge
Not
simp.
attacking.
Huge simp.
Yeah,
Don't fuck with you. Fuck with you. Being the bigger simp. No, go ahead.
you're such a dick, bro. You are the biggest dick. Hats off to him for being the bigger man, not attacking the individual, right?
Yeah.
But protecting and attacking the problem, which is her mental health and helping her navigate these hard and difficult waters right now. So hats off to him. And we wish them nothing but the best. You marked 2 years. It's June 22nd, 2025. Let's see what happens. June 27th.
Yeah.
June
Yeah, I will
22nd,
say that.
2027.
I give him kudos for that, standing by her. Not putting himself in the limelight, just being a support system. I think that's the right thing to do. I think most men will do that. I've listened to a lot of stories. I was driving for 10 years over the road. So I used to listen to a lot of Reddit stories. And this is back before AI, when Reddit stories were still real and people weren't just practicing, trying to make stories. And usually when something happens to a wife or a girlfriend that's on the same level as Cassie, the man always supports them in the immediate time. But afterwards, after that initial wave and they get back to regular life, usually the man or woman finds it difficult to look at that partner the same. They just do. You know what I'm saying? It's, if somebody, if a husband and wife was walking and a small dude came and grabbed the wife's ass and the husband got beat up by the small guy, she could say she supports him, but is she really going to ever feel safe around him again? If the little smaller dude just walloped his ass and put him in the hospital, is she really going to feel safe around him again? No, she's not. Like, and it's just like a man. Like, if something happens to the woman, are you really going to be able to look at her the same? You can still love her. It's just something is off now. It happens, bro. It happens. I've been in situations where you find something out about the woman and can never view her the same. And she's literally still the same person. It's just you find something out.
Yeah. And I think, you brought up a term that I think is very important and paramount to this conversation, right? Pair bonding. And I think there's arguments for and against it. And some of that could be like, and let me see what you think, like personal preference, it's a deal breaker. So for some individuals or partners, past sexual history can be, the number of partners, is it significant, compatibility, is it a deal breaker for you personally, Jermaine? And I'm asking you, it's not a rhetorical question. Someone's sexual past, is that a deal breaker for you? Yes or no?
Depends on what it is. It's situational. So obviously I'm older. I'm 49. So I understand if I get with a woman around my age, she has sexual experience. I'm not naive to the fact. I don't think this chick only been with 2 dudes and she's 45. or she's 40. You know what I'm saying? Like let's actually use your thinker here.
Mhm.
Now I think it would matter in a sense, like, was she like some type of sex worker? Um, and when I say sex worker, I mean having sex for monetary gain, like literally sleeping with dudes she would never sleep with, doesn't want to sleep with, just to gain money, something of that nature. What type of sexual experience was she with 10 dudes at once? Like that's instant, like no. Well, you know what I'm saying? Even two dudes. If I ever date a chick and I find out she was with two dudes at once, I'm just like, nah, bro, I'm good. Like
Okay,
too
so
much.
when you say no, I'm good, is that coming from a place of insecurity or jealousy?
Neither. It's coming from a place that, wow, you would put yourself in a situation to um be, how can I
But
say
yet
it?
you have done the same behavior in your past.
No. I look, well, hang on. Hang on.
Damn, I'm
No, no,
good,
no,
Gina.
no. So what do you mean? Like me with two women?
Yeah, it's okay for you, but it's not okay for her.
Yeah, it's different. I'm just being for real. She's getting dominated. Even with two
Have
chicks, she's getting dominated. Even with two chicks there, they wouldn't be able to hold me down and dominate me. It just is what it is. Like, bro, can you imagine the amount dude behind her and dick slapping on her face, and then you think you're gonna, oh, I just love you to death. Oh, you can never kiss her on the cheek again. Like, stop. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm a nasty dude. And if dudes do half of the shit that I do, I know, like, okay, I don't want to kiss this chick. Like, what? But no, but it is. It's from an
I love you,
individual
man.
case basis. Some things you can't overlook. Like, and I'm not saying the woman or the man is a bad person. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to look at the totality of the situation. If she was with two dudes, you can never recreate that fantasy unless you bring another dude in, which you don't want to do. You can
Yeah.
never recreate that sense of excitement and novelty unless you do the same exact thing. There's always going to be something missing from your sexual experience with her. And you may be the best person sexually that she's ever been with. I truly believe this. You could be the best person sexually that she's ever been with. But because that situation was so rare, novel, obscure, probably in a woman's lifetime may only be able to happen twice. Even if she tries to put herself in that situation, unless she tries to put herself in that situation, only really have the opportunity maybe once or twice in her life. You can never recreate that. There's always going to be something missing. That's why you see a lot of when marriages end, it's because of FOMO, fear of missing out. And it's usually because other women are talking to the married woman about the great times they have on Hinge and Bumble and Tinder. And it's so exciting. She's missing out. And then they start looking at her husband, where the days are monotonous now, redundant. They pretty much play out the same. Both go to work. One drops the kids off. One comes home first. One starts the food. The other one gets the kid ready for bedtime, and it's just a cycle on repeat. In
Yeah.
a man or a woman, I think women experience this more than men because men kind of like repetition.
Mm.
Um, but I think women tend to get bored easier in relationships, and
Yeah.
when that boredom happens, those things that happen in college starts rearing their ugly head. A dude, guess what? The sophomore guy from Brigham Young reaches out. The one that she was sexually compatible with, it was nothing but excitement in their relationship. They just went on two different paths, or he slept with somebody else. But look, he'll always have a place in their heart. In that one phone call, hey, hope everything's going well. Just wanted to reach out. The beginning of the end.
And she starts remembering
Bruh.
her package. So here's my take from all of that is essentially that there's a double standard, right? And
Of course.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Society says and celebrates men for having a high body count. Unfortunately, that's still the case. And for women, it's about motherfucking shame, right? And that's just the way it is. It's horrible. I don't agree with it. I think all our paths, whether you're man or women, a man or a woman, should be just that in the past, and you should have the opportunity to turn that page and start the new chapter if you choose to do that in your life, right?
Yeah, you should.
The counter argument, right, is those that feel that a person's sexual history before they meet their current partner is just that the history, right? And it's more about your worth as a person today, here, now, right? And in spite of your body count pre-relationship with me, right? Or whoever is in that relationship. So yeah, it's a sexual double standard that still exists, but I don't know that it's ever going to go away, right?
It won't.
Because we're still talking, We're still talking about something that existed in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. You pushed into the 60s and 70s.
The 1800s, the 1900s. It's been around since the beginning of time.
Forever and a day, right? And is it going to go anywhere ultimately? Has it subsided some? There have been decades, right? You look at the 60s and 70s, the flower children, they kind of like embrace sexuality more than any other generation, I think.
Well,
you talk
it's
about
up now.
Crazy sex parties.
Not as much as now.
You think now we're
by far, bro? Like if you watch some of these shows, like you have a 19-year-old chick saying she slept with 50 dudes, bro. You know how many 50 dudes is at age 19?
No. Yeah.
Bro, I've seen a chick on a show and she wasn't even into sex work and she slept with over 200 dudes and she was still in college. Bro, do you know how many 200? That's a lot of men. That's a lot of look. If you just tuck each dick and put it right in front of each other, like it's gonna be miles long. That's a lot of penis, bro. That's a lot of penis. I don't care. It just is.
Oh shit!
It just is. 200 men on. I think. Let me tell you. How can I? I'm not trying to be demeaning. I'll say this. Past actions are an indicator of future behaviors. I'm pretty sure it doesn't go like that, the quote, but you have to take that into account as somebody who's getting into a relationship. Even if I had a daughter, let's just put this on the man. So let's take away from the woman. Let's put this on the man. If I had a daughter and at age 25, she came to me and said, I'm in love with somebody. He asked me to marry him. And then I meet him and his past behaviors were, let's say, domestic violence, drug abuse. Do you really think I would want her to marry him, even though she tells me he's changed? I'd be like, no. He could change all he wants, but he's not the right person for you. He may fall back into these patterns. I'm not saying he will, but there's a possibility that he may fall back into drug use. He may fall back into being abusive. Not saying he will, but why would I want that possibility in my daughter's future? And I'm judging him off his past. It just is what it is. As a father, I would do that. Now, if she wanted to still marry the dude, there's nothing I can really do. But I would have that thought. I would have that talk with her. Like, I don't think this is the right guy for you.
But to counter argue that, so here's a good real life situation. I have a buddy from a long time ago. Won't use any names, but this individual ended up marrying that high school sweetheart, right? And both individuals were virgins at the time, and had a very nice relationship, good friends, right? That good foundation for a relationship, had that friendship, trust, etc., etc. And I remember this guy criticizing me at a young age about my quote unquote body count, and how it was, yeah, well,
Unnecessary,
yeah,
morally
okay,
wrong.
exactly. But then what happens, J Dub? Years pass, and
He
then
comes into his own.
yeah, and he starts realizing, holy fuck, man, you know what Ray Ray was doing years ago? I want a piece of that pie.
Hmm.
I want to taste that. And so my advice to young men and women out there is to live a little, but again, follow the mantra or the belief system of quality over quantity, right? You don't just have sex with any random dude or random chick just because, right? Make sure there's a connection. There's a song by Maroon 5 that really I love, and I kind of live by. Go out there and make beautiful mistakes. Don't make mistakes. Make beautiful mistakes so that those mistakes live long and teach you lessons for life. Don't make those. Don't eat empty calories, because that's what you're doing when you rack up that body count. Is you're just ingesting empty calories into your body. That's all you're
Right.
doing, into your energy, your soul. So that's where I come from. And so back to the example I was kind of giving you. It's crazy. So yeah, you could have a situation where you look at an individual's past, but it's about growth and development, growth and change. The belief that people learn from their mistakes, i.e., this guy, right? And then there's those dudes out there that think they're holier than thou and righteous, right? And then end up committing the biggest sin, which is destroying your family because you want to go out there and fuck, young ladies, because you didn't get a taste when you were young. Well, that's why we need to live a little when we're young.
Yeah, I think we need to direct both genders, man, male and female. Like, there's a certain way to do things. Not saying you can't live your life. Not saying you can't get
Mhm.
experience. But too much of anything is a bad thing. Plain and simple. Like, it's not rocket science, bro. So if you're 23 out here, you slept with 200 dudes, you're doing something wrong. If you're a 23-year-old dude and you slept with 200 women, you're doing something wrong. It goes both.
Perfect.
To me, it goes both ways.
Yes.
Like,
Agreed.
it is what it is.
100%. 100%. And the best sex is when there's connection, bro. Would you agree with that? Like, the
No.
best sex you've ever had. What? Really?
Yeah. No. I don't.
Really?
I
So,
think it. I think it
in
can
your
be.
personal experience, the best sex you've had in your life has not been with women that you had some kind of connection with?
No.
Hmm.
I think the best sex. I think the best sex in my life has been with women who didn't have that many sexual partners. I'm being serious. They were just more enticing. Um, it was, and this is when I was younger, obviously, because I'm older now, so every woman's had sex and shit like that. But women who wasn't too experienced, where like a lot of things I did, like they'd never done it, that turned me on more from my point of view. That's who I am. That turned me on more than building a connection for 2 months.
Okay, I'm starting to understand you. You love the novelty.
Yes.
You want to be the first on Mount Everest.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you
in
never
your
titty
eyes,
fuck? You never titty fucked the dude? Okay, cool. Here we
yeah,
go. You know what I'm saying? You ever never had, nut on your face? Okay,
yeah.
here we like that shit. I'm just being for real.
So
I'm
that's so but for you, an ideal partner, like you would be over the moon if you could have a woman that was a virgin.
no, no, not a virgin,
Oh,
not a
really?
virgin.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, that might be because I wouldn't want to do that because the odds of us lasting, I wouldn't want to take a woman. Now I have done it, but I was in school. This is like
Yeah.
teenage,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't want to take, especially a woman over like. I mean, there's more male virgins now than women actually, but did you know that there's more male virgins than women
Wow.
virgins?
Is that really?
Yes. Yeah, you can pull it up. Pull it up.
I had no
Um,
idea.
I think 1/3 of men are a virgin or hasn't had sex in a year. 1/3 in the U.S. But
Mhm.
yeah, I wouldn't want to take a chick's virginity, especially I'm older and I know like if I get a 23-year-old and she's a virgin, that's just like, I ain't gonna say weird. I just wouldn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? If another dude do it, that's on them, but I wouldn't want to do it. That's
Yeah, you're
too
right.
much.
Sexlessness has risen over the years. So, for example, a study found that the proportion of male virgins aged 22 to 34 rose 4% in 2013 through 15 to 10% in 2022. So it went from 4 to 10%, while for women in the same age group, it rose from 5 to 7%.
Yeah, there's more male versions. A lot of people don't even know this shit. But you know, I like researching gender dynamics and intersectional relationship dynamics either way. So yeah, but as far as I wouldn't want to take a chick's virginity because I know more than likely the chick's gonna be in her 20s and I'm way too old to be doing that. Now would I sleep with a woman in her 20s? Yes, but I wouldn't want her to be a virgin. I wouldn't.
So I think we're still on topic, but who cares? We can do whatever we want. So for you, if you were to say right now for your 49-year-old self, who would embody that perfect partner for you to live happily ever after in all respects?
At my age now,
Right now, like to
I don't think
to
there is
fall
one.
in.
I don't think there is one. I look at things how they are. All right. I
Mhm.
don't look at hopes and dreams, finding a chick that's my magical being or my soulmate. I don't believe in that shit. I look at it like I'm 49. If I meet a chick, let's say, and we're gonna keep it within statistically where it ranks at anywhere from 3 to 10 years of my age. So she can be 39. I could be 49. She could be 44. I could be 49. For me to go into that relationship and think she's not going to have a kid or she is going to have a kid, she is not is married, but she's been in a lot of relationships, nothing stuck, or she's divorced. Why would I think that out of all her history of men, suddenly she meets me and we live happily ever after and never separate? It doesn't make sense to me. I understand um, nothing lasts forever. I understand people get tired of other people. I understand people grow out of love. They can love you one day, they cannot love you the next day. I understand this. So if I meet a woman around my age, I know she's going to have kids. Um, they can either in this time and day, meaning the era we're in, she could be 40 years old with a kid that's still under fucking 10 nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like before you meet a 40-year-old, their kid is like, oh, almost out of college. Not almost out of, but in middle school, going to high school. So it's a little different nowadays. So I don't think there is a special person. I don't think a woman has to have this or that for me to quote unquote want to be with her. Would I want a partner for a long term? Yes. I just don't think it's applicable in the day and age that we're in. Because I think nowadays is too much social media and women are always looking for an upgrade because of the attention they receive on social media. I don't think most men, and when I say most, I truly believe 90% of men can never be enough for what women expect of men today. I don't think so, no matter what you do. Right now,
What
I would
about
say
vice versa? Men and the expectations for women.
I think men do have expectations for women, but I think most of the time they keep it bottled up. I don't even think they say it. I think if a man finds a woman and she's kind, caring, um, nurturing, and just a good person, I think he's good. She doesn't have to have a great job. She doesn't have to make a lot of money. She doesn't have to be the hottest chick in the world. She doesn't have to have the best body. She doesn't have to be the smartest. Doesn't have to be the most intelligent. She doesn't have to be a comedian. She doesn't have to make you laugh. Like all of these things, if you put those 8 things to a woman, they're gonna say they
Mhm.
want that. I just put those 8 things to a man, and I don't even think the man cares if she has any of those.
Mhm.
That's there's the laundry list of what women want in men is different than what men want in women.
Well, yeah,
Like,
naturally, I think.
especially look, if I'll say it like this right now. If you met a woman and you were attracted to her from a physical standpoint, because that's always
Mhm.
what pull you in as the man, and she was caring, nice, sweet, would you have What else would you want?
It's pretty simple there, right? Yeah. And you would accept some of those drawbacks that you would discover over the relationship, right? Because she has those very simple qualities. But I don't know that it's a one size fits all for men. I do feel that, for example, going back to the acquaintance and the little buddy that I kind of referenced about being virgins at such a young age and jumping into a marriage at such a young age. Obviously, his requirements changed,
Yes.
right? Because he stepped outside of the relationship. And why did he do that? Because his list changed. So I think in
But hang
that
on. What list? Was it his sexual list or the list of what he wants in his partner? Or a mixture
I
of
think
both?
the sexual list is part of that. I think sex is very important. Let's stop acting like sex is not important, right? As a
Oh, I
society,
know it is.
not you. As a society, like yeah, like sex is very important. And to me, personally, I'll be honest with you. To me, it's very important, especially if I'm pursuing courting a woman, to at least have sex early in a relationship because I need to know that chemistry is there. Otherwise, it's not going to work, right? Maybe that is the wrong way to go about it. Maybe there needs to be a little more reservation on Ray Ray's part. Hold off. Three,
You know what I
4,
find
5
weird?
months.
Because you say that. You know what I find weird? Because I look at these podcasts and they talk about men going on like 10 dates and still like didn't beat or had sex. And I'm like, bro, who does that? When did this start being a thing where you literally go on all of these dates and you never try to chick or she turns you down?
Or,
Like, I don't understand this.
at a minimum, kiss, right? Like something has, like there has to be some kind of intimacy. Like,
And I never, and Renell, and I'm gonna tell you this. I think I've only been on maybe 2 or 3 official first dates. Any other times, they came over to my place or I went to their place. No fucking lie. And I'm not even the best looking dude in the world. But I took out that one. I took one. Oh, I had my son for the summer. First time we met up, I took my son with us. Probably shouldn't have did that, but I did. I did that. Met at this Spanish place. La Granja. I don't know if you remember La Granja down
yeah,
south.
but you know what? You got brownie points for that because the girl probably liked that and thought that was like, oh wow, he's thinking long term with me.
Yeah, well, or she was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I'm meeting this
that
kid
was a
already. He looking
tactic.
for a
Yeah,
stepmom." Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I never slept with her, by the way. Um,
Okay.
but majority of chicks, and I haven't look. I'm just so everybody know, I'm not above 100 bodies as far as women. Right now, I'm pretty sure you've slept with more women than me. I've I actually told my son because you said you have regrets. I said, you know what? I regret not sleeping with the women that wanted to sleep with me more than the women I slept with. That's what I regret. So I've turned
Well,
down.
it's okay to have that regret if you
Yeah.
felt there was a connection with those women.
No. You didn't hear. I turned. I regret turning down the women I did not sleep with up to this point. Meaning, just as many as women that I've slept with up to this point, I've turned down maybe 2/3 of other women. So let's say, and this isn't a number, but let's say, what can we use for context? Let's say, let's say I slept with 45 women, but I've turned down 25 women or 20 women. I regret turning down those 20 women that I didn't sleep with because guess what? Maybe one of them could have been a long-term relationship. So if I didn't get a long-term relationship out of this 45, maybe that girl was in the 20 that I didn't sleep with. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, and it was for various reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of the time, because I ain't gonna lie, like in my early years, and we're speaking of early years, like up to when I was 25, most of the chicks I dated had boyfriends. I didn't know why chicks like me who had boyfriends. They just always liked me, and they always had boyfriends. So a lot of times they had a boyfriend, and I just wouldn't try them. I would know they want to sleep with me, like they would let me use their car, they would buy me stuff. I knew it's just if I know the dude, I just couldn't do it. I did it a
Yeah.
couple of times, and I actually asked my homeboy, "Hey, I think she wanna whatever." And it's always funny. Your homeboys always think like, "Nah, she's not like that," and you tell them like,
Yeah,
"I think she is," and they give you the go ahead. And then when it happens, they're like, "Wow, I didn't think she would
Yeah.
do it." Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what did you
Well,
tell her? Like, I was a
I'm
model from Bahamas. I
I'm
don't know.
and I want to use this platform right now, J Dog, to say to you, you have my official go ahead for any of my paths. So you
Nah,
go for
man.
it.
No, you know what's funny? I was texting. I was sending a message to a woman, and it was a DM. And at some point, I was just like, "What the fuck am I doing?" I wrote some crazy shit
Yeah.
that just like stopped the conversation. Is like, because I knew when she saw the message, she's gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
I shouldn't talk to this dude. You know what I'm saying? I just
Yeah.
signed that just because I was like, yeah. And
Yeah.
plus, she's in a situation. I was like, oh, let me stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I
I
need
would
to
sleep
fish
with her if
today.
she came on to me though. No, I'm being serious. I'm being serious.
I got
I
you.
would
I
sleep
got
with
you.
her if she made an attempt to sleep with
Yeah.
me, but I'm not gonna be the
Like
instigator.
proactively seeking it out. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got you. Yeah. Totally understand it.
Yeah. So, hey man.
Yeah, man. Say, I think we killed this show, bro. Like, woo! That, sometimes it happens like that. We just have these shows and it's off the cuff. Literally, ladies and gentlemen, we did not plan for this. And 52 minutes later, I think we have a masterpiece, J-Dog. I really do.
Yeah.
And
I found that
we even have a
video
guest.
literally 2 minutes before
Yeah.
we came on.
Yeah, bro. It's like sometimes it's the old cliche. Sometimes, the best things in life aren't planned.
Yeah.
Right.
So, any last words you want to tell the people?
No, I think at this point I will go ahead and let the people of America and all our viewers out there know that you can reach me on Instagram at RaynellSaw_JR. And J-Dog, how about yourself?
November Montgomery, all platforms. I will say this. I want to make sure my opinions don't necessarily reflect Raynell's opinions or Jamal's opinions, even though he's not here. Like, I think for myself, they think for themselves. In no way am I saying women should be held in the house. And look, women, do what you do. Just understand there are repercussions to your actions. And also, men, do what you do. Just understand there are repercussions to your actions. That's all I'm saying. Think about the long term. For a long time in life, I didn't think about the long term. And, I should be retired by now. I'm not. It's a cause of my own actions. And you got to be able to take accountability for that and understand. But people, like, comment, share, subscribe. So next week, I'm going to start a cooking show. Yep, I'm going to start a cooking show. I'm going to put it on both platforms. I'm going to put it on RJ Square, and I'm going to put it on the Happy Hypocrite show, on my other YouTube channel. And yeah, man, like, any ideas about what I should cook, send in.
So
You
I
got
have
an
an
idea?
idea. Yeah, I do. So this is what I'm thinking, ladies and gentlemen. For your knowledge, I will be traveling, and so our next upcoming shows will be partially direct and live from Colombia, South America, specifically the good city of Pereira, Colombia.
Yeah.
Yes, we're still working on pronunciation, but don't
Yeah.
fret, we'll get that back.
I'm black, man.
So yeah. Stop it. So we're gonna be shooting from down there. I'll be down there and shooting from down there. My partners will be up here still in the good old US of A. But my recommendation, J-Dog, is maybe we send you some recipes from the good country of Colombia, and you cook some Colombian dishes.
Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that.
Well,
first I'm gonna start off light because I have to. First, I'm gonna start off light because I have my DSL camera, I have this phone, and I have a GoPro. So I want to get different angles because you know how my place looks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the island in the middle. So I got to I have the tripod for the DSL, I have to get a new stand up for my GoPro so I can have different angles. But I also want to put something up here in the lights where it points down to the food that I'm making,
Oh yeah. So you can see
so
it
they can
almost
just see
like,
my hands like
yeah, that's a great
making the
idea.
food. So I have
Mhm.
to get everything correct. So I'm gonna start off light the first time. I'm just gonna make hamburgers, how my father's wife, my stepmother, used to make them. And she made them a specific way. I've thrown in my own touch. So I think the first thing I'm just gonna make something simple, hamburgers, to where I'm not everywhere all over the island. It's just the hamburger meat, whatever seasoning and things I have to chop up. I think I'm
Okay.
gonna start there.
All right. Future shows we'll bring some Colombian dishes and recipes, and I'll start collecting those from the local community in Pereira for you. So, also, we do have a couple guests on the horizon that will be joining us. Specifically, we have a gentleman in the Pereira area that is a veteran service officer in the Pereira, Colombia area, and he'll be joining us in the near future, if not maybe next week, but don't hold me to that. Additionally, we have a real estate professional in the Pereira area that will be joining us as well, and she's killing it down in Colombia. And definitely want to talk to her, get her insight on the market down in Colombia, specifically in the Pereira area, and also just talk about some of the current events in Colombia and life in the coffee region. So that's all I have, J Dog. I'll turn it over to you to close us out and send us home.
Hey, this is RJ Square Podcast. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Uh, leave a comment. It helps with the engagement. Jamal should be back in around a week and a half to 2 weeks. We miss you, buddy. Um, we're gonna keep pushing. We'll have more information to come. Thanks, guys.
Salud.